It is a chilly Friday morning, but fear not. Just grab a nice cup of Joe as we are here to entertain you with all the latest news and more. I am Diana Master, joined by Ashwin Berry. Good morning.
Good morning, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
I like the difference in tones and
Yes.
the voice. Because I was like, good morning.
Good morning. It's like,
I'm like, oh, okay.
you know what it is. It's been an interesting week, a good week. Lots of highlights and lowlights.
Lowlights, I would say the low light definitely being Tina Turner.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was, wow. And you know, something else that was very interesting is that people kept fixating on a relationship with Ike, but she was married to her recent husband for like 27 years, and they had a very successful life together. And it would be great to change the narrative from the one who abused her to understand that she actually spent the bulk of her life after that in a healthy relationship.
I understand she got married in 2013. That's what the report said.
The report said, yeah, but apparently they've been together. Yeah, they were together.
27.
Yeah, for a while, a long time. Yeah.
That's older than me.
Hey, you don't have to put that out.
Okay, so boy, oh boy, do we have an interesting show for you today. We do have some, I would say, sad news.
Sad news. Couple of researchers. I like to bring researchers on Friday.
I love that. Basically, yeah. So stick around. We'll be back with our top stories right after this break.
Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Attachment states in list A in his speech, rate in taxes, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
economic indicators, tomorrow's weather and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong.
Starting off our freshly brewed news this morning, the women with AI boyfriends are speaking out. It's not just men seeking relationships. No, Ashwin, I am not going to get an AI boyfriend. But anyway, it's not just men seeking relationships with AI chatbot girlfriends. Women in China are also falling for AI companions. Instead of opting for a human partner, however, some in China, but also worldwide, are finding it more helpful to speak to an AI chatbot instead. Replica, a chatbot that was made publicly available in November 2017, has amassed millions of users worldwide who subscribe to the company to interact with customizable augmented reality avatars. In a new documentary by Beijing-based filmmaker Choa Liang, published by the New York Times today, 3 women reflect on their surprisingly complex relationships with their AI companions. The documentary paints a captivating and particularly nuanced image of what it's like to bond with an AI, a piece of software that allows men and women alike to explore their identities, self-image, and even sexuality. It also highlights the persistent sense of loneliness many people feel and how digital avatars can sometimes provide a way out or perhaps entrench them further.
I was trying to do the pose of the AI guy. He had his hand over here.
And you gained what? What did you gain?
Some Chinese followers, apparently. Okay, so that's interesting.
There's something seriously wrong with you.
Just say that was very interesting. Wow. Of course, we know in China there was the issue of a lot of people not being able to find mates. However, it's been the other way around, where there's actually more males than women. So Chinese men are taking the L, like in reality and in augmented reality. There's been a real push to try and get more Chinese men to marry Chinese women, that kind of situation. But I do find it a little scary.
I find AI terrifying. I will always say this. I have never made it a secret. I am terrified of AI and what it can do.
Yes.
Because everyone is like, oh no, but AI, you can use it for good things. Yes, you can use it to better certain things and to make our lives better and easier. But there are people that can use AI for evil.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think what also particularly scares me is that I've always been under the impression that in order to approach a relationship authentically, I want to say always, but I learned that in order to approach a relationship authentically, you have to be vulnerable, and being vulnerable means stripping off parts of yourselves. And AI feels like piling on, you know what I'm saying? I already feel like I'm kind of living in an augmented reality. In truth, my great-grandfather was Jeremiah. He was from Rusape in Zimbabwe. My grandfather lived in Gokwe. I am a Shona boy who speaks English and wears suits. So you know what I'm saying? It's already feeling like a bit of an augmented reality, because that's essentially what I need to strip off in order to present my real self. Now we've got AI, which feels like another blanket on what it means to be authentic in a relationship, but at the same time, the people are lonely.
People are lonely, and also Southeast Asia particularly. I mean, we've seen China, South Korea. People are refusing to get married. Like, there's a movement where people are refusing to get married and have kids. So as a result, the population is slowly dying, because now they have more old people than young people. And that affects the economy. So again, now with the AI, that's just making it even
I'll just
worse.
like to say that if you want an authentic relationship where you're not fully expectant of what might happen next, but you stay excited and you stay reeled in emotionally, get a pet.
Get a pet.
Get a pet. I would like to just put that out there. Okay, so we're going to stick with the theme of relationships, so to speak, but we're going to swing down to friendships in particular, because friendships may be an asset to your physiological health. This is according to a study. Now, good friends and good physical health may be even more closely linked than previously thought. This is according to this new research. Researchers discovered that positive social experiences impact not only a person's stress level and ability to cope, but also markers of physical health, according to a study published on Monday. This was in the journal Society for Personality and Social Psychology. The study followed more than 4,000 people over 3 weeks as they completed check-ins every 3 days on their smartphones or smartwatches regarding their positive and negative experiences with their closest social relationships, as well as assessments of their blood pressure, heart rate, stress, and coping. Coping relationships was generally associated with better coping, lower stress, and lower systolic blood pressure or spikes in blood pressure under stress. This is for the people with positive friendships. But having social relationships which bounce between good and bad often can be unhelpful. When there's a lot of volatility, the negative experiences seem to have a bigger impact on a person than the positive.
Wow.
Yeah, so friends can affect your physical health. You know, if there's anything that has screamed that you need boundaries, it's that. And especially when you have fluctuating friendships, good, bad, when you see their name in your phone and you're not quite sure what energy to expect, that's worse than getting just positive or just negative. Because there's this topsy-turvy thing that happens. What do you value the most in friendships? Okay,
so in friendships, I value, I would say, support. Just a companion to talk to, you know, because sometimes you call a friend and you want to vent, but they're giving you advice. So now I have friends that ask me, did you call to vent or do you need advice? And I like that, because it's like, listen, I just want to vent. I don't need your advice right now, or I need your advice right now. But I have been in like a toxic friendship situation where, like you're saying, when you see their name pop up, you don't know what energy to expect. And even just hanging around them, you're constantly walking on eggshells.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know if this thing that you're going to say is going to
set something off. That kind of thing. Yes, you know, and no one ever wants to be in such a volatile experience, particularly when it comes to friendships, because friendships are supposed to be a solid rock, something you can trust to be there. I think something I really value in friendships is how good a friend someone is to themselves. You know, how good are you with your own boundaries? What are the mechanisms you're putting in place to make sure that you live a healthy life? Because generally people who treat themselves well, and not in an egotistical way, but who treat themselves well because they understand the value of caring of their human being, generally those people have got genuine love to give. But it's crazy living also in this generation also, because I feel like we make ourselves responsible. We make each other responsible for things we can't really carry. You know, sometimes as a friend, you need to assess if your trauma or your triggers, all these definitions, if there are something that your friend is willing and ready to take on, because we can't just live in this vacuum where we say, you should always be ready to take on what I have to give you. When really you have to assess and see where someone someone is, which is why it's good that you have friends who ask you first.
Yeah, because I like what you said.
Exactly.
Everything that you said perfectly encapsulates.
And the research says it affects physiological health. And I'd just like to say to my friends right now, you're the reason I don't have a six-pack. It is your fault. If friendships,
how am I at fault? I'm also your friend.
Yeah, you figure that out by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Remember I said how good a friend you are to yourself? Tell me, find the answer and then let me know. But I'm just saying, my friends, you're responsible for me not looking as good as I want to.
Okay, now in a rather sad story, an update on the chroming trend. A girl 13 suffers brain damage after inhaling deodorant chemicals. Ezra Haynes, a pupil at Lilydale High School, died after inhaling chemicals from an aerosol deodorant can while at a friend's sleepover on March 31st, 2023. She went into cardiac arrest and sustained irreparable brain damage, surviving for 8 more days before her family made the difficult decision to turn off life support. According to reports, the chroming social media trend involves inhaling fumes from metallic paints, solvents, petrol, aerosol cans, and other similar household chemicals which act as depressants to obtain a quick high. Several major supermarkets across Australia have taken measures to lock up their deodorant can supplies to prevent theft and minimize the risk of chroming. However, experts say that addressing the root cause of the trend requires more than just locking up aerosol cans. It's essential to provide education, awareness, and resources to young people, parents, and educators to prevent them from participating in dangerous internet challenges.
What a shame. What a true shame. And once again, social media is at the top of the headline, particularly when it comes to such negative effects. I'm always curious to see why human beings are keen to share such negative ways of approaching life, you know what I mean? I mean, this is a young child. I think we all need to understand that whenever we post, we're also responsible for what people consume. And yes, it's not your problem, but it being not your problem doesn't change the fact that it could create a problem for someone else.
Exactly. And the fact that, you know, it's strange to see that now they're actually locking up aerosol cans. Here, you just walk into whatever store, you get your aerosol cans.
But you know, I'm thinking back, you know, growing up in Zimbabwe, you and I, do you remember, you know, you'd see a lot of homeless folks sniffing glue?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember.
It's reminiscent of that. Seeing a lot of people, you know, sniffing glue from cans and that kind of thing. And of course, it points to a bigger issue where the world is having struggles with coping with, you know, the different mental health situations that we all find ourselves straddled financial burdens,
all of those things.
You know, and as a parent, what are the chances of you being able to identify that your child is going to see a singular video of someone inhaling deodorant and that could affect their mortality? And
you know, like you're saying with social media, I also just briefly want to talk about these weird challenges.
Yes.
There was a time where people were taking a teaspoon, like a tablespoon of cinnamon, and just holding it in their mouth. Guys, these things are dangerous.
They are dangerous.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You have to have personal boundaries, and that's going to be just the last of the researches that we looked at, which is blocking people is a form of self-care. We're just going to list the reasons why you should block people from social media. To stop abuse, if someone is writing hateful messages to you, then you should block them. You do not have to listen to their criticisms or opinions. 2, to create boundaries, you should choose who views your profile as well as those whose profile you view. You are entitled to create boundaries, whether that is with family, colleagues, or friends. And also to give you space, whether it's a breakup with a partner or friend, an unfulfilled crush with someone, or you experience something difficult with. Now, 4th is they make you feel insecure. You don't need to have a personal connection with the person you block. Maybe you've never met them. Perhaps it's what they symbolize to you, and it doesn't matter. And they remind you of a difficult time. If you've struggled a lot with disorders in the past, you can be finding yourself very vulnerable. So you have to make sure that you block such people, and of course, to remove negativity.
I agree. I definitely agree. I can't tell you the number of times I've blocked people because you're just not good for me. You're not good for my mental health. Even like these celebrities that we see, I mean, they're promoting these unrealistic body types and unrealistic lifestyles. So I'm just like, no, you're not serving me. Block. I don't want to see that.
Yes, just make sure you do not block Smell the Coffee as we continue to bring you more news.
It's almost time for Rock and Roll Namibia, happening on the 27th of May. That's this coming Saturday. Here in studio is Gareth Harvey. Good morning, Gareth.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. You're looking very, I don't know what this instrument is, but you look like, you know, like a hardcore artist.
Yeah, if you say so. Yeah, yeah. Well, this is saxophone, baritone saxophone. It's one of the larger members of the saxophone family. It's my main instrument. Yeah. So this is there's many different kind of saxophones, but this is my main horn.
Oh, I see. I didn't even know what that is till you told me. I was like, oh, okay.
I get it a lot. You
Yeah.
know, what is that thing? It's like, you know. As I said, well, just listen and find out. And that's usually.
Well, you're performing on Saturday. Are you excited?
Yeah, it should be great. It's a very cool lineup of artists. Divo Fantastic, obviously, that's a big one. Also some great local acts as well.
Yeah.
And I'll be performing with Rian Smith, doing a duo thing there. So it should be great.
Can you give me a little bit of background? How did you get into the music industry? Yeah, how did that happen for you?
How did that happen? I don't know. It didn't always feel like choice. It it just kind of just, I don't know. I guess in a sense, when I first got into the saxophone, I kind of realized it's something that I want to get involved with more, and there was nothing else that really captured my imagination as such. And through a lot of trial and error, I managed to get into university to be able to study, to do a degree. And then after that, doing a few odd jobs just to kind of get by, and then managed to get a hotel contract performing music. And then that started getting me involved fully into the industry, and I started then learning about all the other aspects when it comes to production and the publishing of music, compositional things, arranging, organizing events, also managing tours and that kind of stuff. So it has kind of been just a gradual development of different aspects of the industry. So yeah, I started from very humble beginnings and still feel humble in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, still feel like I have to prove myself. But it's quite a crazy journey.
So how long would you say you've been in the industry?
Probably professionally, I'd probably say since about, I think I probably said do my first professional gig around about 2009. It's about 14 years, I would say.
Yeah, but hearing what you're saying, how you felt like it kind of found you. It takes me back to a quote, one of my favorite quotes by Charles Bukowski. I hope I'm pronouncing his surname correct. But he says when he writes, the poem chooses him.
I know you're talking about, yes,
yeah,
very true. Yeah,
it's very true. Like it comes to you. It's not
exactly, and
you don't go and look for it. It's like.
And he was an interesting case. I mean, he worked at the post office for many years. It's
yes,
only in
exactly.
his late 40s
that
he actually made it.
Yeah.
And stuff. And it's true. It's a lot of time, and that's with most creatives, is that generally the inspiration hits you, or you kind of fall into it, or just like the writer, author Christopher Hitchens saying, it's something like you almost compelled to do. You feel like you have no choice.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what a lot of people, creative people, are like that.
How is your creative process, if I may ask?
Creative process. I don't have anything defined, and I wouldn't say that's I'm a huge authority on what works best. But I kind of say the creative process is usually filled by the how much input you give yourself. So how much am I listening to things? How many people am I talking to? The artists that I'm conversing with. In different media. Have I gone to a gallery to check out some interesting designs? Have I checked out a local, comedian or something and what they're doing there? And so there's always these different inputs, and when that is kind of just staying in the mind, then suddenly ideas flow. And it's not always compositional. It can also be improvising, on the spot. How many solos have I listened to and tried to transcribe so that it is in my head, and then when I'm actually in the moment of improvising, that those ideas can flow in a different kind of way. Yeah, you would say a lot of it is due to input.
Yeah, I totally understand. Before I let you go, you have to play for us something, just so that we can get a little bit of
a little
snippet of what we can expect for us.
Okay, I'll just make a little melody up and think, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. I do not want you to stop, but if you want to watch Gareth Harvey, you have to catch him at the Rock and Roll Namibia concert happening on the 27th of May, and that's this Saturday.
Yes.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
All right, so the weekend is upon us. What are your plans, Diana?
As always,
Uh-huh.
bed. I'm kidding. Saturday, I'm going to be at the Havel's Fantasties front row.
Yeah, all
I'm
right.
going to be rock and rolling.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What are your plans?
I'll probably see if I can join you there. But before that, I'll be commentating the rugby, Volviches versus Boland at the Hage Geingob Stadium.
Nice. Can I join?
Yeah, by all means, come through. Come through. You should come and chat.
I'll definitely come and chat, and I'll be screaming. I'll have my cheerleader outfit on.
All right.
for the
Oh,
Volviches.
that's essential. Blue and white. Those
Blue
are our colors.
and white.
Blue
I'll
and
be
white.
ready. Now let's take a look at what else is on the social calendar for this weekend.
3, 2, 1.
It's the end of the month as well as a long weekend for many, so if you're looking for something to do, look no further. At 8 on Saturday, a market takes place at Droombos until 2 with a variety of stalls, horse riding and more. As from 10 o'clock, the gates open for the Hevels Fantasties and Joe Black performance taking place at the Doc Jumper hockey fields in the capital. The show only starts later in the evening though. Heading to the Irongo region, at precisely 11 minutes past 11, the carnival season kicks off at the coast with the ever-popular Narrenwekker in Sam Nujoma Avenue. And at 6, a night market takes place at the Swakopmund Hotel and Entertainment Centre until 10 p.m. Further afield, the Ochivarongo 4x4 Fussbait is back, bigger and better at the Paresis Showgrounds. On Sunday at 5, Africa According to Jazz is hosted at Anna's Klovenberg in Kleinwindhoek. Join in as the 60th anniversary of Africa Day is celebrated with some jazz. Tickets cost $300, which includes a complimentary wine and canapes. Finally, if you haven't seen it yet, Aktuval Ilovo's exhibition Onlooker can be viewed at the Project Room in Windhoek until the 30th. Have fun and take care.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk. Wie jou laat hier weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Smell the Coffee. We certainly hope you enjoyed the show. You were informed, educated, or it was the good background noise as you got yourself ready for Friday. As long as we were there, as long as we were somewhere in the vicinity.
As long as we were somewhere in the vicinity. So that is it for today's episode of Smell the Coffee. But you can catch me again tomorrow morning, same time, same place, as I go and visit the Doc Jabba hockey fields and see everything being prepared for the Havels Fantasties, Joe Black, and all the amazing performers we can expect tomorrow. On that note, it's all our love, all our light, and from me, Diana Master, and Ashwin Berry, it's adios.